The show already told us everything, not in a vague, open-to-interpretation way. In a specific, episode-by-episode, pause and rewind way that makes it clear Peppa Pig has been building toward a very particular future for its main character since the very first season. Peppa's future husband. What she looks like as an adult. Her job, her house, her children. All of it is already in the show. Most people just were not paying close enough attention. We were. Here is what we found. The husband, Pedro or Danny. Every serious conversation about Peppa's romantic future comes down to two names, Pedro Pony and Danny Dog. These are the only two candidates that the show itself has actually pointed to, either through specific episode moments, through the way the show positions characters around each other, or through the single most important piece of evidence in the entire debate. So let's go through both of them properly and settle this. Start with Pedro. Because the show started with Pedro. In the episode School Play, Season 1, which means this was happening before most of the audience had even decided whether they liked the show, the playgroup performs Little Red Riding Hood. Peppa is cast as Little Red Riding Hood. Danny Dog is cast as the Big Bad Wolf. And Pedro Pony is the hunter, the one who saves her. The role assignment alone is worth noting. Danny is the villain. Pedro is the rescuer. In the universe's first theatrical production, the show chose to put Peppa in danger and have Pedro be the one who fixes it. That is a deliberate writing decision made in Season 1 that established a dynamic between these characters before most viewers noticed it. But it gets more specific than casting. Pedro is terrified to go on stage. He is shy and nervous to the point where Madame Gazelle has to physically hold his hand to get him out there. And yet he goes. He does it. He performs the rescue even while being visibly afraid of doing it. The play ends, everyone applauds, and Peppa walks directly to him and says, "Pedro, you were very good." And then she kisses him on the cheek, in public, in front of everyone. That is the only kiss in the entire show. 20 years. Hundreds of episodes. Peppa has kissed one character. Once. And it was Pedro. If you thought that was a one-off, the show keeps pulling them back together. In the hospital episode, Pedro breaks his leg and the whole playgroup visits to draw on his cast. Peppa draws a muddy puddle, her signature, her thing, the most Peppa gesture possible. And Pedro draws a flower on Peppa's plaster from when she grazed her knee. Nobody else does anything like this in that episode. It is small, it is quiet, it feels different from everything else happening in the scene. Then comes the biggest piece of evidence. In the episode in the future, Peppa is lying in bed with Susie Sheep imagining her adult life, and she says, "And this matters. I will marry Pedro or Danny." Pedro is named first. In a show where every word of dialogue is written deliberately and recorded multiple times before it makes the final cut, the order is not accidental. Pedro comes first. Danny is an afterthought. But the real confirmation is visual. The same episode shows adult versions of all the characters standing in a line. Adult Peppa is in the middle, standing directly beside her. Pedro, not near her, right beside her. In the episode where Peppa talks about marriage and children, the show places Pedro in the position a husband would occupy. Danny is in the lineup too, standing next to Susie Sheep, not Peppa. The Peppa Pig wiki lists Pedro as her love interest. The show positioned him beside her in the future episode. She kissed him and only him in 20 years of episodes. This is not a close competition. What about Danny? Danny got mentioned. Pedro or Danny? So, let's give him a proper look. Danny Dog was the big bad wolf in the school play. The villain. The one trying to eat grandma. Not the most romantic foundation, but maybe that is just one episode. Maybe there are other moments that build a genuine Danny and Peppa connection. There are not. We checked. There is no Danny and Peppa episode. No drawing exchange. No special moment. No visit when one of them is injured. Nothing. Danny's wiki page lists his love interests as Rebecca Rabbit and Emily Elephant. There are even fan discussions connecting him to Susie Sheep. Peppa is not on his list. So why did she mention him at all in the future episode? Honestly, it sounds like she threw his name in so she did not come across as completely fixated on Pedro. Because when you look at the actual evidence, Danny has nothing. No romantic episodes, no wiki confirmation. He played the villain in the one episode that actually set the romantic framework for the entire show. Pedro wins. It is not close. Danny was never really in this conversation. What adult Peppa actually looks like. The episode in the future does not just hint at who Peppa marries, it shows us adult Peppa on screen. And adult Peppa looks exactly like Mummy Pig. Same body shape, same face, same everything. Except she is wearing her red dress instead of Mummy Pig's orange one. This is confirmed across the show. When children in Peppa's world grow up, they turn into their parents. Emily, Candy, and Molly all use their mother's design as their adult version. The wiki confirms it. The show is telling you that the pig who is currently jumping in muddy puddles with George is going to become visually and functionally Mummy Pig, which creates an interesting problem. The interspecies problem. Peppa Pig has never had an interspecies couple. Not once. Every family in the show is a single species. Pig families are all pigs. Dog families are all dogs. Rabbit families are all rabbits. Elephant families are all elephants. This is a rule so consistent across 20 years and hundreds of episodes that it functions less like a coincidence and more like a foundational law of how Peppa Town works. Peppa marrying Pedro Pony would be the first interspecies relationship in the history of the show, a pig and a pony, which means their children would be, and the show does not have a clean answer for this, something new. Something the universe of Peppa Pig has never produced. And then there is the name situation. Every character's name matches their species. This is the bedrock logic of the entire naming convention. Peppa Pig, Danny Dog, Pedro Pony, Susie Sheep. If Peppa marries Pedro, she becomes Peppa Pony. A pig. Named Pony. This is either a catastrophic breakdown of the show's internal naming logic or a deliberate decision the writers made knowing exactly what it implied and choosing it anyway. The children. The future episode shows children running around. Peppa talks about having lots of them. The camera shows them playing. And here is what we found when we looked closely. There is no baby pig. Not one. We checked multiple times. Slowed it down. Went frame by frame. No pig child anywhere in that scene. There are two pony children, and Peppa is smiling directly at them. Either Peppa adopted two ponies, which is a storyline the show has not established any foundation for, or those are her children with Pedro. Pig-pony hybrids. Completely unprecedented in the history of the show. The first mixed species children Peppa Pig has ever depicted. The universe is apparently ready for this development, even if the naming convention is not. The job. In the future episode, Peppa says her job will be doing important work on her computer. Important work on a computer. The episode then shows adult Peppa at her computer. She is playing Happy Mrs. Chicken. That is it. That is the important work. A farming game. On her work computer. During work hours. This is precisely what Mummy Pig does. Mummy Pig works from home on her computer, and the work appears to consist primarily of typing for brief periods before redirecting her attention to whatever is happening in the house. Adult Peppa is doing the same thing on the same type of computer for the same amount of actual productivity. She looks like Mummy Pig. She works like Mummy Pig. She has the same relationship to professional obligation that Mummy Pig has maintained for 20 years. The transformation is complete. Peppa is becoming her mother, and the show established this long before Peppa would have been old enough to understand what that meant. Pedro, meanwhile, wanted to be a superhero in When I Grow Up and a cowboy in Pedro the Cowboy. His career trajectory is unclear. His wiki page describes him as lazy, forgetful, and someone who enjoys sleeping. If those qualities sound familiar, it is because they are the same qualities the show has assigned to Daddy Pig across 2 decades of episodes. Peppa is marrying a smaller version of her father. The show has been building to this, and nobody noticed. The house. Peppa says they will live in a big house with fountains, water fountains, plural, and a swing in the garden. A house with multiple water features is not a starter home. This is either the result of Peppa's important computer game work paying exceptionally well, or a situation where parental financial assistance is involved. The show does not clarify. The fountains exist. Somebody is paying for them. The show gave us all of it. The husband, Pedro, confirmed by the only kiss in 20 years, the hospital drawing, the future episode positioning, and the wiki. The appearance, Mummy Pig in red. The job, Happy Mrs. Chicken on a work computer. The house, fountains, plural. The children, 2 pony kids, no pig in sight. Peppa's future has been in the show the whole time. We just had to pay attention. So, are you Team Pedro? Or are you somehow still holding out for Danny Dog despite the complete absence of evidence? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more hidden details from your favorite kids shows, we have plenty more where this came from.